buckle up because I'm about.
Who told you to start? No one. Turn down your volumes.
What?
Repeat. Turn down your.
Guys,
Oh, okay,
I'm
now
doing
my
a
reaction video. And hopefully, I won't accidentally delete the recording. If you hear something in the background, just don't pay attention to it. So yeah, we are going to react to my 7-year-old sister is on the run for. I'm thinking murder, but I don't think that can happen. But they're gonna obviously try to clickbait us, which that is fine. So we're just gonna get into this video.
To take you for a wild ride. I'm a college student and was currently enrolled in the
College.
hardest calculus class in the school. My professor sent us home with a math problem that no one had been able to solve
Ain't every teacher do that?
before. He
Sorry.
said that Einstein himself couldn't solve it. So naturally, I wanted to be the one to crack it. I worked all day and night trying to get it done. I started crying in frustration when my
This is this a anime right now? Anime? I like anime. Beautiful. Nani? I'm playing.
adoptive sister ran up and took the paper. I was about to
Adopted.
yell at her for scribbling on it when I noticed she had solved it in a matter of seconds. No way. This has to be a
It. What? I just want to say. Oh, her sister probably not even 7. Her sister probably like so old, and that's why she on the run for or something. I think.
mistake. You see, my family adopted my 7-year-old sister from another country a
Yes,
year ago.
7-year-old.
My parents had completely given up teaching her things. They thought she couldn't learn, but I could sense that she was holding back. For the last few months, I had been teaching her to write in English. Since she is a mute who can't talk, I thought it would be good for us to learn how to communicate with each other that way. Here she was struggling to write down words like apple and cat, suddenly solving complex math equations. When I asked her how, she just shocked me again. She pushed her finger up to her lips to tell me to keep it a secret. Why would anyone want to hide being so smart? And by the way, do you want to be smarter?
I'm smart.
Subscribe to the channel to hear all.
No! Subscribe to me, not them. They do clickbait. Subscribe to me. Let me skip this, because I'm not.
Subscribe to the channel to
No.
hear all our daily
No.
crazy stories. And tomorrow,
No.
you will wake up smarter.
Yeah,
So I
right.
didn't want to take credit for doing the math problem, but I did want to know if she was actually right. I brought the paper to my professor and just asked if he could take a look at it. He was so excited.
Why is an ad popping up? I should really get YouTube. I should really get YouTube Premium, because I hate this.
Dogs don't know what's good for them.
Just skip a little bit part of this. I'm sorry that there's a stupid ad popping up. This is what happens when a 10-year-old that don't have YouTube Premium reacts to stupid stuff / clickbait.
Luckily, you do. Greenie's Dental Treats.
When he
All right.
asked who solved it, I panicked and said it was me. He was beaming. He kept telling me how proud he was and how smart I was. What's worse is he called my parents to let him know that no one in their 30-year career had ever solved it before.
What is this?
I wanted to tell them about my sister, but they were glowing. How could I just disappoint them? I felt so guilty and confused. I wish I never brought that stupid problem home. Every
I'm sorry.
time they bought me a new gift or praised me, I looked towards her. She was always shaking her head, begging me not to tell. In retrospect, maybe I should have said something, but I stayed.
Bruh, I would have clipped. My mouth would be shut closed. I won't tell no one. I got all gifts and everything showing me love. Why would you like not take that love? Doing too much.
Quiet for her. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. How did a 7-year-old
Bruh.
know math so well but couldn't even spell out the alphabet? I yelled at her, explaining she made me feel horrible.
Bro, you doing too much. How's she making you feel horrible? Like, you getting everything that I would want. You know? I would like presents and love and affection. But now you gotta yell at her and like she did something. Shut up!
She made me a fraud. I demanded to know where she learned so much math, and I was not about to take her playing dumb. She looked at me with a bit of understanding and started to scribble out a paycheck in front of her. From what I could make out, there were 3 words: woman, secret, run. What's this even supposed to mean? I shouted.
She's not 7. She's 54. I'm just playing. But she's not 7. She's older than that. She's like adult.
You need to explain yourself. She sighed for a moment and flipped the paper over. This time she wrote a lot more than 3 words. In fact, she wrote an entire paragraph. Unfortunately, it was all in a strange language. I stared at it for a moment and just got more frustrated. This didn't solve anything. She then did something more shocking than solving a math problem. My mute sister pulled me close and said something. She whispered in my ear, "No one tell." I agreed not to tell a soul, but she needed to promise never to touch my
Why did that adopted sister that's 45 look like an anime character?
work again. She sadly nodded her head. I thought this would be the end of it, but unfortunately, the damage was already done. My professor told everyone about the paper. He constantly pointed out how smart I was in class, and when I tried to deny it, he just told me I was being modest. Suddenly, I went from the shy girl no one noticed to that mysterious woman everyone was talking about. At university, everyone started to show an interest in me. They started coming.
You know what? Look, they doing that because they want you to do their homework. But why do you don't want that? Why you don't like that? This story is pretty stupid. I should chose something else because I already know what's gonna happen. See, in the title, in that thumbnail, they made it seem like that she killed someone, but no, she just like an older woman that looks 7, and I've seen that before. So.
Coming for help on assignments or asked how I did on my work. When I didn't want to tell or said I couldn't, he turned her around very quickly. My heart stopped. "The paper," he shouted. "Who was it?" He demanded I tell him who wrote that paper. I told him my little sister drew it. He flipped his computer around very quickly. My heart stopped when I saw what was on the screen. It was my little sister, but she was wearing a business suit and had her hair done up very maturely. This was much different from her princess footsie pajamas I was used to seeing. He asked if I recognized the woman in the photo. The woman? I questioned. That's
the woman. The woman.
She may be your adoptive sister, but she is not little. He told
the woman. Alright? She's a woman. I already know that. Jeez.
Told me to hand the letter back over to him, and he translated. It was in his native tongue, and he just wanted to make sure we were in a more private place before he disclosed what the letter was about. The content of the letter was something I wasn't prepared to hear. It said that my little sister was on the run from the police. She was a big scientist in her home country, and she was framed for a murder. She begged me not to let anyone see the paper, and she would promise never to attract attention to me again. Whoops. Here I laid out a confession to a total stranger. I asked him, how dangerous can she be? She's just a little girl who spends her days playing with ponies and dolls. He pulled up a newspaper article about a 38-year-old woman who looked like a child. He explained she had been wanted in his home country for over 10 years. Longer than I thought she was alive for. I told him that she had to be framed. She was so sweet. But he wasn't so sure about that and asked if he could meet her in person. He told me that she suffered from a disease called Turner syndrome. It's what gave her a strange appearance and let her pass as someone much younger. She was actually an adult, a very smart adult. Even if she did lie about her age, it's not the same as murder, I argued. I could not believe the sweet and charming girl who had tried to cheer me up by solving my math equation was a monster. I agreed to let him meet her, only to prove to him that he was wrong about her. It seems pretty straightforward, right? Well, it was one of the worst decisions of my life. He told me that we needed to keep absolute secrecy.
I don't like this animation because they putting up stupid stuff. Alright? Stupid stuff. Like, without this stupid stuff they added with the nose and stuff and all that, it would look like a stupid anime. So, you're not even good. A stupid anime. Come on now.
He erased his computer history and had me write down my address on a piece of paper. He told me that if anything happened, I should check under his bed for a red envelope. I thought he was just being dramatic. How often do dates turn deadly? He told me not to answer any strange phone calls I got and to stay on the down low. Piece of cake. Or so I thought. I went straight home that day and we decided to meet the next night. He was to come to my house at around 6 p.m. I told my parents
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
that he was my boyfriend and he wanted to meet the family. I was a little excited, even if it was just pretend. Suddenly, I got a text from him asking for my address. I thought it was kind of weird since I gave it to him earlier, but I texted the details back to him. When I heard a handsome foreigner in a suit, I got a few men in official uniforms. They walked in and demanded that we hand over my sister. I ran to protect her, but we were too late. They dragged her away. As my parents called the cops, I called the hot foreign student. How dare he sell my sister out like that? When he didn't answer, I jumped right into my car and drove to campus. I was going to give him a piece of my mind. When I got there, his dorm room was open and it looked like someone had broken into it. I searched through his stuff and noticed that there were some things missing: his phone and his laptop. I quickly ran to his bed and searched under it. I felt around until my hand touched a piece of paper. Sure enough, it was a red envelope. I immediately opened it. In it, he told me that someone must have tracked his computer and gotten information. I should make sure not to answer any messages, even those that came from his phone. If I could, I should try to convince my family to move or go on an extended vacation. Most importantly, I should never tell his or my parents anything. It would only put more people in danger. I was sobbing. If I was only smart enough to solve that stupid equation, maybe none of this would have ever happened. I was feeling guiltier than ever.
This video is done. I'm tired of this. Goodbye.